Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko with you, as usual. Tariq, Spence, how you doing, man?
Feeling good. Getting ready to wrap up summer.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sad. But football season's coming. Neighbor Rowan, Director of Communications, Rochester Red Wings. We're going to talk a little baseball off the top. How you doing? It's been a long time. It's nice to have you back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great. It feels like football weather, but we're still playing baseball.
We still are. For, now, a couple more weeks?
Yep, we play through October 3rd this year, and that's because the Major League rosters only expand by a couple players today, September 1st. So the minor leaguers have to keep playing because they're going to need to call on those players to help the big league club down the stretch.
Now, this is a small part of an entire restructuring of minor league baseball. The International League is no longer, the teams are vetted geographically. As a guy who spent the whole rest of his career working under one set of rules, and now you got this, how's it working out?
It's a little bit different. This year, because of COVID, we're only playing the other 5 teams in our division. The other divisions have 7 teams in this league, AAA East. So they're only playing teams geographically. So because there's 7 teams in one division and 7 in the other, there has to be some crossover. But in our division here in the Northeast Division, we play Buffalo, Syracuse, Lehigh Valley, Scranton, and Worcester, and that's it. So we've played a lot of the same teams, which when you play these 6-game series, which are new this year, it helps with travel, but it's kind of it's the same broadcast. I was talking with Josh Wetzel, our broadcaster today, and he said he doesn't like the 6-game series because it's the same stuff for 6 straight days.
He uses all his material.
All his material in the first few days, and then he's got to use it again. So I will say that when we play back-to-back 6-game series at home or on the road, those are long stretches. When we play 12 straight games at home, it's tough. When we go on the road for 12 straight games, it's like, get the team back here. We're ready to play games at home. So that's been the biggest change, is you're playing the same teams all season long, and the 6-game series is certainly a change from the last few years.
Has it been a total change from everything from top down? Because obviously with COVID-19, there was no 2020 season. So then you come over to the brand new 2021 season with a brand new affiliate, brand new organization, brand new schedule, playing only 6 games, like getting to know the fans again who are a bit maybe hesitant coming back out of this whole lockdown.
Yeah, so it's taken some time for the fans to come back to the ballpark, because what 2020 did, obviously there was no season, but people found other things to do with their time. So we are in a battle of, there's people who have found other things to do, so we're trying to get those people back. Our prices did go up a little bit because of all the COVID restrictions. When the season started, we were maybe going to be allowed to have 3,000 people in the ballpark. Now it's expanded a little bit. We still have people that are hesitant to come out to the ballpark. So we're trying to get those people back. We're trying to get people that have found other things to do with their time. So trying to get those people back. But with a new affiliation, we have people that had just gotten used to the Twins. The Twins really weren't here for that long, just about 18, 19, 20 years. And before that, it was the Orioles for an incredible long time. That's
anyone else's standards, though.
Right. But now we have the Nationals, who in this area, unless you're a transplant from DC, you're not a Nationals fan. So we're trying to get people acclimated to the organization, which is difficult. It's a little bit easier because they were World Series champions a couple years ago. But to get that World Series, they depleted their farm system. They traded almost all of their big prospects. So at the beginning of our season, we had a lot of veteran guys, not so many prospects on our team. And so as the Nationals made trades this year at the trade deadline, we saw some of those guys, but now those guys are up in the big leagues helping Washington. So we're back in the spot that we were at the beginning of the season, which we really don't have a lot of what people would call prospects on this team.
I thought, and I remember us having a discussion about how during 2020, everyone was going to miss the stuff during COVID. And I was convinced that 2021, people are just going to come back in a rush to the ballpark because they'd missed it the year before. For whatever reason, that really hasn't happened, has it? No, and
I think we have several things that we can point to. I talked about the ticket pricing. We've always prided ourselves as a front office to make coming to a Red Wings game affordable for a family. Affordable family fun is what Gary Larder, our chairman of the board, always talks about. But because of all the extra expenses for COVID protections, additional staffing, different things that needed to be done at the ballpark to meet these new Major League Baseball requirements, our ticket prices went up because we didn't know that we were going to have a full stadium. So at the beginning of the season, we had to raise our prices to meet what was required of us. And so there's some people who haven't come out because pricing is a little bit higher, But we still have people that are hesitant to come out because of COVID stuff. There are no mask requirements at the ballpark. We strongly encourage fans in any indoor space to wear masks. Our front office staff is back to wearing masks full time, whether we're inside or outside. But we still have fans that are hesitant to come to the ballpark. And now we've gotten to the part of the year where kids are going back to school, football's coming back. Down the stretch will be really interesting at the gate.
Let me give you the last thing is it's a quick chance to do a commercial. Worcester finishes up on Sunday. What do we have to look forward to quickly in the rest of the season?
So we go on the road next week to Scranton. We play 6 games against the Rail Riders. We come home for 7 games in 6 days against Buffalo. Then we finish the season with 5 at Worcester and then 5 at home against Scranton, the Yankees affiliate. That runs through October 3rd.
All right. This is the Rochester Press Box. We're talking Buffalo Bills next.
Original Bay Goodman Pizza, located on the corner of North Winton at Browncroft. There are 3 ways to get the original Bay and Goodman delivery. Go to baygoodman.com.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. Great time to talk a little Buffalo Bills. The preseason is over. Went fast. This whole thing of playing 3 games, it felt like it condensed everything.
It did, but it was great. And I will just take the Duffy moment for a second. Let me just tell you, I saw the pass Josh Allen threw to Gabriel Davis in that preseason game. There is a wow moment in every preseason game, and that was it. I'm not sure what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do with one of the top-ranked offenses and one of the top-ranked defenses as well. So it looks like they've made the roster cuts. They look great, but I wanted to see more, but now I just want to see it week 1. I'm more excited for the Bills' first game than I am for the Giants' first game. That's what makes this so exciting for me, that everything seems to be trending towards Buffalo, even with the stadium talk too.
And we got a whole half out of Josh Allen, which was, you're holding your breath the whole time he's in there, but it's kind of nice to see.
It was nice to see. And it's great to see that Western New York is back on. Everywhere I go, every supermarket I walk into, there's more Bills stuff. This was sort of the bandwagoners from last year who didn't believe. They now believe now. So it's kind of like, okay, trendy. Somebody asked the other day, what jersey should I get? I said, Josh Allen. So just understanding where we were a year ago, where there was a lot of skepticism, even on my part on Josh Allen's play, that he has now gotten to that level. It's all about playing week 1, going with the season. There is a lot of momentum in Buffalo. I love that first half.
Yeah, the preseason, pretty much every NFL team treated it the same in that their starters really didn't play a lot. They played maybe a little bit in game 3. There were some teams, Patriots among them, that needed to find out what they had, and Mac Jones, for example, who's now going to start for the Patriots week 1. But for the most part, Buffalo just wanted to get through the preseason healthy, and they did it. Although Josh Allen did play the first half, and I know Duffy was tweeting about it. He was worried the first half. Every time he took off to run, anytime he was under pressure, you're holding your breath, just making sure, because this team is certainly nothing without Josh Allen.
No, let me get this. This is Josh Allen right now.
But to their credit, I thought they really kept it under control. I mean, in terms of what they did and what they allowed Josh Allen to do. He was never really at risk.
Right, and I think that you can call plays for that, right? But he's certainly somebody who has to use his legs to be, to make him even more dynamic. His arm strength, obviously the pass that Tariq talked about with to Gabriel Davis for the touchdown, that was an amazing throw that certainly opened a lot of eyes. But they called plays to kind of keep him out of danger. When week 1 starts against Pittsburgh, you talked about their defense is a defense with Watt that gets after the quarterback. He's gonna have to be a guy that uses his legs, but his arm strength is just, it seems even from year to year, is so improved from last season. They look like their offense is going to be even better than they were last year.
To that point, Tariq, I mean, isn't a measure of Josh Allen's improvement this year going to be running less?
Yeah, I would guess running less, especially if you're going to make passes like he did in the preseason game. Listen, 20 of 26 is a great passer rating. I mean, 124. It's just unbelievable. I think this is going to be, yes, he's going to have to run away from that defense. Obviously, this is the beginning of the season, so they've got their legs underneath them. That would be great. But what's also going to be good is his receiver core. I mean, you're going to see how he does with Diggs, how he does with Beasley, how he does with all of these new weapons that he has, even the running backs as well. So that's going to be fun. The defensive end of this, too, the fact that that game against the Packers was actually a shutout on the defense, lets me believe that they're going to be ready to shut down Big Ben or whoever's going to play at quarterback for Pittsburgh. I would assume it's Big Ben. I wouldn't go any further to say that he wouldn't be the starting quarterback for the Steelers. But that's going to be the interesting end too. How long the Bills will have the ball, how long they'll be able to get the ball out of the hands, 3 and outs for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's fun. We're a week away from kickoff and we're already talking about week 1.
This is Rochester Press Box. Like it or not, it's next. Here's the Press Box trivia question, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
All of these things show Josh Allen has a strive for greatness inside of him.
Falcon Around with Carl Falk. New episodes every Tuesday on Rock Sports Now.
Here's the Press Box trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Are you facing criminal charges from a DWI and feel that you never imagined it could happen to you? Contact attorneys with years of experience as prosecutors and defenders. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today for a free consultation. You can put your trust in us.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. This segment, like it or not, brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law. Attorneys with years of experience defending the accused. Don't go unprepared. Contact Ganguly Law today. Tariq, like it or not, on your team, the Mets, thumbs down.
Oh, I hate it, but guess what? It might have galvanized my Mets. Now, here's the situation. So, for folks that don't know, Javi Baez scores a run for the Mets, comes across, puts the thumbs down. Says after the game it was at the fans who had been booing him. Terrible answer. Then Mets
But honest answers in sports are often terrible answers.
You're true. We say we want honesty until it comes right at your face. But then you have the Mets sort of backing a story of him doing this before, always doing the thumbs down. It's not against the fans. He apologized. So does their shortstop. Lindor. So does Lindor. So he apologizes as well, basically saying, we love the fans. I would not do this in my career. Then goes out that very same day after the apology and scores the game-winning run for the Mets. They go on and I believe sweep the Marlins. All is forgiven. Everything feels great. And now we're better.
I don't believe all is forgiven. But, you know, Nate, it's never a good idea to alienate your fan base, is it?
No, definitely not. And what I find funny and what to me is so Mets about this whole situation is that Baez has been doing this now for 3 weeks, and it took 3 weeks for him to do something where people are like, what? You know, because he hasn't played well for the Mets. It took him 3 weeks to do something where people are like, all right, Javi, what is this? You know what I mean? So that to me is Mets, because they have not played well the last 3 weeks, so it took 3 weeks to realize it. But when you call out your fans like that, especially in New York, there is nothing that he can do aside from single-handedly putting the team on his back and leading them to a World Series where they're not going to boo him the rest of the season.
The thumbs down could be their symbol for the rest of the year.
Yeah, turn it into something that you see for the next whatever, you know? Nate, like it or not, Bishop Sycamore High School.
I hate it. Hate it. I mean, you've got college dropouts playing against high school kids, and oh, by the way, the high school kids win. I mean, IMG Academy is it's a factory down there in Florida.
Yeah, so the background is that this is a football game that wound up on ESPN against one of the nation's best high school teams against these guys.
Right, who are junior college dropouts. Their head coach had apparently some warrants out for his arrest. They played 2 days prior. And they were still able to get a game on ESPN in which IMG Academy just kicked their butts. I hate it because I have no idea, as somebody who puts together events and stuff, how you couldn't do your due diligence. And ESPN to not do the work that's needed to be done to get to vet this group. This would have been the easiest Google search of all time. They did not do any work to prep for these guys. I don't know how it happened.
Please just give me the 30 for 30. I need to know what the Firefox or Fire Festival of Sports is really all about, because I've never seen anything like this. So many entities, IMG, ESPN, a school I never heard of that's not even real. That's a great story.
Yeah. It's not as unique as you might think. I may just cover an unfinished business. Like it or not, brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law, and Unfinished Business is next.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. McArdle's is open 7 days a week with dining available indoors and out, takeout and delivery. Come home to McArdle's.
Came now to Eichel. He floated one.
Thanks for joining us, and welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. Time for Unfinished Business. Let's let the date start.
All right. So the Los Angeles Angels, Shohei Ohtani, probably going to win the American League MVP. Mike Trout might be the best player on the planet. The Angels have won 0 playoff games since Mike Trout was drafted in 2009. 0. In fact, I watched them play one of their 3 playoff games the entirety of Mike Trout's major league career. They're wasting Shohei Ohtani, maybe a once-in-a-generation type player who can pitch, who can hit, and who can steal home, apparently, because he did it against the Yankees this week. He also homered on Monday. They're wasting 2 of the best players maybe in baseball history. If this was any team on the East Coast, they'd be getting obliterated. They're under 500 with 2 of the best players. I get Mike Trout is hurt. He's on the injured list. He's been on the injured list since May. But Shohei Ohtani is having a once-in-a-generation type season. He's hit 40 home runs. He's got an ERA under 3, and he's stolen over 20 bases. The Angels are wasting him, and nobody's talking about what a failure the Los Angeles front office has done to these 2 players, who again are 2 of the best players in the entire league. If this was an East Coast team, the Mets, the Red Sox, or the Yankees, they'd be getting obliterated and people would be fired. Instead, it's business as usual in Los Angeles.
Thank you to the fans, and those fans that are constantly working as we head towards Labor Day on Monday. It's one of the things that I wonder about when it comes to who's watching sports and who's getting out there. Every single day, people go to work doing what they need to do, sometimes being overworked, let's be honest. And it's so many different professions, from nurse to police officer to firefighter to people delivering donuts to people making deliveries every single day for the post office, UPS, FedEx. These are the fans that'll be watching 1 week from today on Sunday. They'll be watching baseball. They'll be going to Red Wings games. They'll be watching hockey and basketball. They're every single day people that just need some sort of release that's called sports at the end of the day. They don't get thanked a lot. So I take this time just to thank them for what they do every single day, and enjoy your football week.
So Bishop Sycamore scammed its way onto ESPN to play football and be humiliated on national television. To what end is unclear, but the school itself doesn't hold classes, doesn't have an actual location. There is a post office box in Columbus, Ohio, yet the team plays in a league based in Texas. If unaffiliated by choice on religious ground, it passes as 21-year-olds as high schoolers, played 2 games in 3 days last week and left behind a trail of unpaid bills and everything from football helmets to hotel rooms. The head coach was fired after leaving behind a string of arrest warrants. And somehow, Sycamore still has games scheduled. How could this happen, you ask? And I would answer, are you serious? Bishop Sycamore exists in a landscape that includes Daniel Monte, who in 2001 struck out 62 of the 72 batters he faced in the Little League World Series, leading his team from the Bronx with third-place finish. Monte was found to be 2 years too old for the Little League, and all the team's wins are forfeited. Bishop Sycamore exists in a landscape that includes Rosie Ruiz, who in 1980 ran off course at the Boston Marathon only to re-enter the race near the finish line and be declared the winner in record time, no less. That didn't stand. Bishop Sycamore exists in a landscape that includes Lene Kakua, the would-be girlfriend of Notre Dame football All-American Manti Te'o. Lene died of leukemia and left said player depressed and heartbroken, except Kakua never actually existed. The online relationship was a scam perpetrated by one of Te'o's acquaintances. Bishop Sycamore exists in a landscape that includes the Spanish Paralympic basketball team, which won a gold medal at the Games in 2000 until it was discovered that 10 of the 12 players were not, in fact, mentally challenged. How could Bishop Sycamore happen, you ask? Are you serious? Yes, we do have some kind of history, don't we, Nate?
Well, if people just want to try to win and by any means necessary, and we've seen it time and time again, unfortunately, these stories are not going to stop.
I think
Good to see you. We'll do it again.
Thanks for having me.
I think Danny Almonte got key to the city that year in 2001. I think he did.
I think he might have been a Major League Baseball player if that hadn't all happened, and he was kind of like hands off.
I tell you, just got to play by the rules.
There's an unhappy piece of an ending to every one of those stories. It's really quite fascinating. And that's our show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week with the Rochester Press Box.